Hello everyone and welcome back to Monsters of the Past. I'm your host as always, Mr. G, and today I'm here in South America to talk about this episode's subject. It was one of the strangest theropod dinosaurs, and it can best be described as a reptilian cheetah. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Carnotaurus. Carnotaurus means meat-eating bull, in reference to its horns, and it was a member of the dinosaur family, which were a group of theropods characterized by their robust legs and unique head ornaments. Like most theropods, Carnotaurus was a carnivore, and it lived during the late Cretaceous in South America. The first and so far only Carnotaurus skeleton was discovered in 1984 by Argentinian paleontologist Jose Bonaparte. Despite being the only skeleton, it was incredibly well preserved, only missing the tail and lower legs. Carnotaurus was around 24 feet long and was one of the larger dinosaurs. Carnotaurus also had spikes and small bumps on its skin, and is one dinosaur we almost know for sure didn't have extensive feathering. Another notable thing about Carnotaurus was that its arms were even shorter than that of T-Rex, to the point that they were borderline vestigial. Carnotaurus had a much lighter build than larger theropods such as T-Rex, which leads many paleontologists to believe that Carnotaurus was a fast animal that would have been like a reptilian cheetah. Alright, I've been dodging it long enough. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. What did Carnotaurus use its horns for? Adorning the top of Carnotaurus' head were a pair of horns just above its eyebrow. From the day it was discovered, these horns have perplexed paleontologists, and many theories have been proposed as to what the role of these horns were. One theory is that they are for mating purposes, with males fighting each other with these horns, similarly to modern-day bighorn sheep. Another theory is that these horns were for mating purposes, but instead of being used for fighting, the horns themselves would have been used to impress females, similarly to how many birds today have body parts that are only used for courting purposes. The last theory I'm going to mention is that the horns were only for ornamental purposes and didn't serve any real function in the animal, similarly to how many birds and even some dinosaurs have head ornaments that don't really have any purpose, such as the crest on the cassowary. Overall, since we only know Carnotaurus from a single skeleton, we may never know what role those horns served. With all that out of the way, let's look at the card.
Well, this is a pleasant surprise. This card has actually held up very well. First off, I like the lemon lime coloration they gave it, and I literally cannot think of anything in this card that's outdated. I think the reason this one aged so well is because since we only have one skeleton of it, even to this day, there isn't really much that could have changed since the 2000s in terms of Carnotaurus appearance.
So, overall, I give this card the elusive 10 out of 10. With all that out of the way, let's finish this video off by talking about some of Carnotaurus' appearances in popular culture. In the Jurassic Park franchise, Carnotaurus appeared in the novel of The Lost World, where it has the ability to camouflage similarly to a chameleon. Although it did not make it into the final film, it did eventually make its big screen debut in Fallen Kingdom, where it's part of a running gag where it keeps getting upstaged by T-Rex. Carnotaurus also appears in the Lost World arcade game, where they took the chameleon thing one step further and gave it these crazy chameleon-like eyes. Carnotaurus is an adoptable animal in the GBA game Jurassic Park 3 Park Builder, as well as the mobile games Jurassic Park Builder and Jurassic World the game. Carnotaurus appears as a tameable animal in the video game Ark Survival Evolved. The most famous fictional appearance of Carnotaurus was in the Disney movie Dinosaur, where they have the role of the main predatory animal. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't care that these things are oversized or whatever, because they were awesome. Yeah, like I said, in the movie they were oversized since they were originally planned to be T-Rex, but they wanted a more obscure dinosaur as to stick out more. But they didn't think to change the size, so they picked an animal that was only like a third of T-Rex's size. So yeah, that's why the Carnotaurus in this movie are so big. But anyway, I don't care that they're inaccurate because they were awesome. The red coloration make them seem more like demons, and especially with the horns and all that. And the scenes of them were some of the best in the movie. Carnotaurus also appears as an adoptable animal in the PC game Zoo Tycoon 2. A Carnotaurus appears in Land Before Time 14, where it looks like they just glued horns and spikes onto a T-Rex. Yeah, not a big fan of this appearance. Carnotaurus also appears in the Disneyland ride based off of the movie Dinosaur, where it appears chasing down the cart for a bit before you return to the present. And finally, the weirdest appearance of Carnotaurus I could find was in the Asylum Jurassic Park mockbuster, Age of the Dinosaurs, where they gave it the proportions and behavior of how the raptors behaved in Jurassic Park. This is kind of like the reverse Disney's Dinosaur in a way, if you really think about it. But I don't want to think about these things because these are disgusting. That's all for this episode of Monsters of the Past. Join me next time when I take a look at the surprisingly sailed sauropod from the south. Bye!